Welcome to the Rotary. It's a great day to be a Rotarian. The prayer today is by Dwayne Galden, the pledge by Trina Coldiron, the four-way test Troy Brakefield, and the song by our wonderful David Ellis. Would you please rise?
Yeah. Give it to me.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for this lovely day, for this meal that we've received in our Shabbat. Thank you for the opportunity to serve our community and help our efforts, bless our efforts, Lord. Watch over us and guide us and protect us. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please join me in the four-way test of the things we think, say, and do. First,
is it true?
Second,
is it fair to all concerned?
Third,
will it build goodwill and better friendships?
Fourth,
will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Good job, people.
Thank you.
Would you take your little blue book that's on your table and go to song number 38? 38. It's called If You're Happy and You Know It. Are you happy? You are. Okay, 38. Here we go. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, then your life will surely show it. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. If you're happy and you know it, then your life will surely show. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. If you're happy and you know it, jump Rotary.
Rotary.
Happy and you know it's Rotary.
Rotary.
If you're happy and you know it, then your life will surely show it. If you're happy and you know it's Rotary.
Rotary.
Anybody can clap on Rotary all at one time. He wanted that last verse.
Yeah, I wanted the last verse, but my microphone died. Must be a sign.
And so, and my
We have a visiting Rotarian today, Theresa Sadler. Could you please stand up? Theresa is the liaison to our Stop Human Trafficking Satellite Club, and she's invited anytime that she wants to come. And she can share words with us, and as a reminder, our meeting is
next Tuesday here, 5:30. You're all invited, and we have a guest speaker who's coming, who's actually was a victim of trafficking, among other things, and she will be sharing her story and also sharing her work and how she reaches out to victims in all sorts of trafficking. So if you're interested or want to learn more about it, that would be a great meeting to attend. It's free to attend, 5:30 here next Tuesday.
awesome. Thank you, Theresa, and thank you for being our liaison. We have Rotarians with guests, David Ellis.
I do. I brought my lovely wife Sheila with me.
Roxanne Turner, you have a guest.
Yes, I do. I have Debbie Darter. She's with the City of Quinlan of the EDC. Debbie is a former member of Rotary, and she's going to read her.
I
do. Yep, she is.
Yahoo! Way to go. Thank you, Roxanne. Trina Coldiron, you have a guest.
I do. I have my lovely friend Natalie Pegg. She is the new executive director of United Way. Natalie hit the ground running, and she is our neighbor at Script, and we are delighted to have her in our building.
And we hope she wants an application too.
Yes.
And then Tammy Schaefer, Sergeant at Arms, you have a guest.
I sure do. I have my husband Al Schaefer, once again, in whom I am well pleased.
All right, Sergeant at Arms, it's happy buck times, and this is still for the Waverly, Tennessee flood victims. There were two schools, that totally country schools that totally lost their school and had to go to another school, and the school that took them in is the school that we are helping because they had nothing. They had no papers, they had none of their books, they had no supplies, and they're literally stuffing them in all areas of the school. So dig deep and let's do some happy bucks.
Oh, yeah. Is anybody happy in the house? Don't everybody speak at once. All right, buddy, here we go.
All right.
Yeah.
I've got 50 happy bucks here. One for each year of medicine in Greenville, Texas, 36 years in neurology, and 14 years in VP of medical affairs at the hospital. And tomorrow's my last day.
Congratulations, buddy. Congratulations. All right, Roxanne.
Okay, so, one of the things is, I won't be here next week because I have to attend a funeral for one of our senior advisors at Turtle Creek. So, I just wanted everybody, keep them in your prayers. But the other thing is, I know a lot of people are wondering about, Scott Kernard. He should be, being released today. That's a blessing. And we're almost to wedding day, so very excited. Thank you.
You would think Roxanne was getting married again. Nervous. All right, here we go, buddy.
Well, 2 weeks ago I was having double hernia surgery, so I'm happy to be here today. Sorry I missed the bike race.
Glad you're all right, buddy. Next. All right, here it comes.
I've got $20 today because I want to also say something about Dr. Sandin. So tomorrow is his last day after 14 years of serving our community and our hospital and our organization, and I appreciate him so much. He is a true gentleman in every way, shape, and form, and he had the not enviable job of trying to bridge the gap between doctors and administrators in hospitals. And so that is a very difficult task to do, and he did it with such grace and humility, and that he accomplished a great job for us over 14 years. And we are going to miss him. I'm going to miss him as a mentor and as a friend. And Dr. Bob Dewell will be following in his footsteps, and he set a bar very high, and we're hoping Dr. Dewell can climb up that high. But he did a great job, and I just want to thank you very much for 14 wonderful years.
Congratulations, Doc. All right, you just happy? Got another happy camera behind here.
I was sitting over here at this table and we started swapping war stories. I found out we got a World War II veteran, a Korean veteran, some Vietnam veterans, Cold War veterans, and so I want to applaud all the veterans in the house here.
Any more happy people in the house? All right, Bob, here we go.
$30, I'm just happy that the finance officer was finally able to work into her valuable time to figure out how much money you guys owe me. I'm expecting late fees.
Bob won happy bucks last week.
Good deal. All right, Ms. Trina.
Okay, I am going to give a shout out to Dr. Sandlin as well. Not only is he a wonderful Rotarian, but your suggestion for the warmth drive, I want to tell you thank you, and you'll be pleased to know that we will have 300 fall prevention flyers in our blessing boxes that go out to seniors in Hunt County. So thank you so much for your suggestion.
Good deal. All right, here, Lisa.
I just wanted to say two things. One, an announcement. Rafa Clinic will be having its annual fundraising dinner October 26th. If you wanted to know more about us, that's a great thing for you to come to. You can go to supportrafa.com and get all the information registered. But also, I just wanted to thank you guys for your support and your prayers. We've seen a 160% increase in client services since September 1st. That's a lot of people. And so much so that yesterday, Rafa was featured in a national news article in World Magazine. If you and I are friends on Facebook, go check it out today and please share the good work we're doing.
Wow, bless you, honey. Bless you, that's an awesome ministry.
Fiber for Waverly, but I want to make a remark about Dr. Sandin. Also, on the lighter side, have you seen his Facebook post when he and G were in San Diego? Have you seen that? They were posing with that iconic statue there on the.
Oh, I did see that.
Well, he had his wife been over giving her a kiss like that, duplicating the pose that's in San Diego. He still got it.
All right, good one. Is there anybody else? Debbie Sickles. Oh, you need my opinion. Okay.
I haven't had any dollars or 20s the last few weeks because every time I turn around, somebody's wanting a donation. Oh, here's a $5. Thanks, Wes.
Thanks, Wes.
That means I can talk 15 minutes now. Anyway, I hadn't had any change, but I actually want to say a big shout out again, you guys. The Cotton Patch Challenge was the biggest success. I can't thank you all enough. The board actually committed, we needed more money in the budget. We committed to 50,000 and right now it's around 53 as Colleen and Katie reported last week. So a big shout out to Katie and all the volunteers that work Cotton Patch Challenge.
Great deal.
We already have our date set for next year. So just the main thing I guess going on right now, I think in my world is you guys, my granddaughter's actually getting to play volleyball at Arlington Baptist University. And she's like the best one on the team. She was so good that they played a really bad team last night and they told her she had to sit on the bench so they can allow some others to play. But I want you to know that Jade Erin Sickles, even though she's only 5'5", is an awesome volleyball player at Arlington Baptist University. And the next few games are in town and I'm gonna get to go to a couple of them. So I'm happy to do that and I'm also happy, I put in $10 and I'm happy to be serving y'all as Rotarian President. But my biggest happy bucks right now goes out to Al and Tammy Schaefer with All TAM's Builders Plus. They sent their little girl Cassie, and thank you Cassie. She's back there painting the room. This was an experimental room, so please don't judge no colors. We are going to kind of lighten up the walls, but I think you guys are going to get the gist of the cleanliness of the room, some colors going on in the room, and they're finishing up, but y'all go peek your head in the corner and make sure you thank her. And Al and Tammy, thank you for the awesome donation. They donated all the labor. Thank you.
All righty. Can we give away a little money here? Even though Bob won everything last time, we're going to try to stare this thing up for $2,560.83.
Give or take.
Give or take, yeah. Okay, can we get one? Thank you so much, you gorgeous lady. All right, everybody ready? 8, 2, 3. Woo! Can I get a 1? Everybody got a 1? 0?
Yeah.
No 0? 1, 0, 5? Anybody? It better not be
105.
105, anybody?
Check your ticket.
That's the one I gave you back.
That may be the one you gave me
I
back.
got 06.
Oh, God, you gave me the wrong one.
I know, apparently.
Okay, maybe you put it in the jar, so let's redraw.
Yeah,
So
okay.
105,
There you go, 105,
going
going
twice.
It's back in here, because he gave it back to me.
Oh.
Okay, I'll say, but give me one. Did you make sure to purchase the ticket and get it? All right, here we go, y'all. 8, 2, 3. Woohoo! 0.
Yes.
8. 0.
Wait a minute.
That's right before me.
Oh.
Hey!
All right, congratulations, buddy. All right, Dwayne. I put the ace of spades back in here, being that we starting over.
All right, that'll work. Shuffle good.
I got you. Yeah, they come around the mountain. They come. All right, here you go, buddy. Right there. Right there. Oh, bam. Oh, made it hard.
That means loser.
That's what it is, the big L.
Okay, mark your calendars. World Polio Day. This is the Rotary's World Polio Day. It's October the 24th.
Oh, okay.
I believe Larry and Liz and a couple of people will be getting together for that. The next thing I want to announce is if anyone in here is interested in helping me and Katie and a few others start publicizing our campaign to refurbish this building, I would like you to just stick around for a minute or give me your name this afternoon. We're going to be having a meeting within the next week or so. so we can start a kickoff campaign and get some sponsors and plan our functions that we're gonna do to help raise money to refurbish this beautiful landmark. I believe, David, we have a 3-minute speech today.
Yes, we have a 3-minute speech today by Karen Clark.
In case any of you don't know me, I'm Karen Clark, and if you do know me, you know I'm not a native Texan. I was born and raised in Kalamazoo, Michigan, lived there until 2016 when I moved here, and became involved in the community of Greenville. During my years, I was a legal secretary for 40 years. I was a pastor's wife for 20, and I also was the bookkeeper for John's business in the years when he owned his business in Kalamazoo. I worked with a rescue organization as a cat and kitten foster. And John and I dosed many, many cats and kittens. I also worked with 4-H when I was in grade school and junior high school as a knitting instructor.
Thanks for getting that.
John and I like to travel, so we did, especially car travel. So we traveled, I've been to both coasts of the United States. We've been to many of the national parks, and probably all but about 2 or 3 of the contiguous United States. In fact, our son, when he was 14, started refusing to go on vacation with us because he said we walked too much. But we enjoyed seeing historical sites and going through our national parks. I still like to travel, which has been curtailed in the last 2 years, but hopefully we'll pick up again here. I have one sister who lives in Oregon, and other than that, I am involved in Altrusa, and I'm involved with the Chamber of Commerce as an ambassador, and now as a member of Rotary.
Thank you. Karen's also helped work our registration at the Cotton Patch Challenge the last probably 3 years or better, huh? 2 at least, for sure. Okay, the next thing, their board meeting will be in the Blue Bonnet Room on Tuesday, October the 5th. Board members, please mark your calendars. Any member that hasn't attended, a new member that hasn't attended the board meeting, feel free to join us, should you dare. That's a joke. And then we have a wonderful presentation, Dave. We're going to give away a little money today. David still has it.
I'm going to invite Bud to come up here. Bud, the board of directors realize the value that you bring to our, and your cause brings to our community. It serves the hospital well. I'm sure they're very happy with what your efforts are, and in recognition of that, I didn't know she had it. I was looking for it. We are donating $1,000 to this year's Bras for the Cause. And I'm going to ask Bud to give us just a recap of what you've done in the past, the amount of money, and what your goal is for this year.
If you give me this, I'll give you a real one.
Okay, thank you. First off, thank you all so much. That is a very generous donation. We are very thrilled and appreciative of it. I'm hoping all of you do know what Bras for the Cause is. This year's event will be October 14th in downtown Greenville from 6 to 8:30 p.m. It is always a fun and kind of wacky occasion, and I keep hearing people say it's one of their very favorite events in downtown Greenville. It's been favored enough that over the last 12 years, Bras for the Cause has raised more than $1 million for Hunt Regional Healthcare Foundation. That's pretty remarkable in a community this size. We are very grateful for that. Our newest project is probably our scariest, and I will tell you it keeps me awake at night. We are going to purchase a replacement for the Tubby Atkinson mobile mammography unit. The current coach has been on the road for 10 years. During that time, it has logged thousands of miles. I will tell you that it is chugging along right now, but there is no air conditioning in the cab. They have to tie the door shut with a trash bag. And yet the two women that are running that coach are still keeping that thing on the road, along with all of the maintenance and the folks at the hospital, because they believe in the purpose so greatly. When that coach rolled out a few years ago, only 33% of the women in Hunt County that were eligible were getting mammograms. We are now up to 67%. And we touch not only Hunt County, but the 5 counties surrounding it. The new coach, which is $750,000, rough, give or take a little bit, will be new, all the warranties and everything working, and then it will have a 3D mammography machine in it. We cannot put one in the current coach because the machine is too big, so we have to, that's part of it. And then we're adding a bone density scanner as well, per the hospital's request, so that we will be able to screen for osteoporosis as well. This is an investment in the health of this community. I cannot stress that enough. This is not a cute little project that the little ladies with the bras are doing. This is an investment, and it's an investment by all of you and by everyone else in the health. We all know someone who has had cancer. We all know someone in particular who's had breast cancer. If it's not you, it's your mom, your wife, your sister, your daughter, someone. And so this touches everyone. This is not just a little lady's issue. This is a community issue, and this is a community investment. And your $1,000 helps a lot. That means I'll get a little more sleep tonight. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's always nice to have Hood. She's enthusiastic, and she is a really big volunteer in our community. We thank you for being here. We'd also give you an application if you'd like one. Any special announcements, any special needs in our community that anybody would like to bring up at this time? Y'all remember, if you see a special need, we'd like you to bring it to the Rotary. We want to also help our community, not just all nonprofit organizations, even though we would help some if they needed help. Now, Dwayne can introduce our speaker.
All right, Dr. Sandin, congratulations on that illustrious career with the hospital there. You're going to be greatly missed. I too was in San Diego with my bride and that same statue, and I attempted to bend her over and a kiss when my back got caught, and she almost ended up on the deck. So we don't do things like that anymore. Anyway, I would like to welcome. Actually, Dr. Mark Rudin was unable to be here today. He had a commitment in Rockwall he had to go to, but the Dean of the College of Innovation and Design, Dr. Yvonne Russell. Welcome.
Thanks, Dwayne. Thanks for the invitation to speak to all of you today. Dr. Rudin sends his apologies. He very much wishes to speak to you. I know that he's scheduled himself as a speaker for several months and has never been able to make it. And so this time, finally, he was like, VR, I need you to show up to let Rotary know that we really do love them and that we really do want to speak and share our information about the university. So Dr. Rudin sends his apologies, but I am his subpar replacement. So I am Dr. Yvonne Villanueva-Russell. That is the biggest name ever, and it's very intimidating, and generally I am just known as Dr. VR on campus. So I'm an approachable name that students can go to if needed. Ready for the next slide. So Dr. Rudin, if he were here, would probably brag about the very amazing announcement that was made yesterday that Texas A&M University Commerce has been invited by the Southland Conference to become a Division I athletic school. So we are very proud and very excited for the future of our university and what it means to the community and the upstanding nature of athletics, but also uprising the university to the next notch. So we're very excited about that. unfortunately, I can't say any more about that because I'm not in athletics, but I am here to talk about, next slide, the College of Innovation and Design, which you've probably never heard of because we're still trying to figure out what it is. So it's the newest academic college at the university. And my charge given by Dr. Rudin was to invent new things. I am literally told to build things that other departments cannot and should not be doing. I've been given permission to fail. So I build the new programs, the new certificates, the new shiny things that may fail, that may succeed, that no one's ever seen before. And I've been given permission to break all the rules in doing so. So I actually think that I have the best job in the world at the university. Student preparedness, which is really part of our strategic plan, getting students ready for that next step, that next job, that next degree, that next thing in life, is very much at the heart of everything that we do within our college. Next slide. So I said that I break the rules. We're literally, in my college, turning the paradigm of education on its head. So in order to do my job, I've had to unlearn everything I thought I knew about being a professor at a university. So the old school, the old way of thinking of a university was that we're a university and we're steeped in tradition and this is how we do things. And if you want to be a student and if you want a degree from us, you're just going to have to figure it out. You're going to have to make the sacrifices. You're going to have to show up and do it the way we want you to do it. Right? That works for many schools. That's no longer how we're doing it, at least not in my college and not at Texas A&M University. What we're doing now, the new way of thinking, is that we're meeting students where they are. Right? We understand that students have lives, that students have careers, that students don't have time to show up to school from 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. Right? They're taking care of their elderly adults. They're taking care of their children. They're working during the day. They are trying to piece together a very busy life. So we tend to meet students where they are, whether they're first generation, whether they are 68 years old, and we try to make sure that education is accessible and something that's not intimidating for them. Second way that we're changing things is that the universities used to be run by faculty. They still are. Faculty are, I'm a faculty member, we're the most important people. We're the smartest people in the room, right? And it used to be that what we were interested in, whatever whim that is, maybe it's candy making unicorns, right? That's my specialty, it's not. But if it was, I would want to build an entire program around what I know, because I'm the smartest person in the room. And geniuses as we are, we found out that is not what business needs. That is not how the real world works, right? And so in my college, what we do is when we build a new program, we start with you. We start with employers. We start with industry. We go directly to the market and future employers and say, what is it that you need? What is it that you need your employees to do? What can they not currently do? How can we help you improve your business? How can we help you improve your marketability as you go out in the globe, in the region to make a difference? So the industry and market experts, our future employers, are actually the experts, right? And it's only after I know what industry wants, then I hire the faculty, right? So we have completely turned everything on its head. And so the last one was the idea that, the old way of going to the university was you get out of high school, you're 18 years old, you choose your major, and that mysteriously, magically becomes your career, and you never leave that organization. You just get promoted being a teacher all of your life, right? And we know, I think all of you could attest in the room, that's not the real world any longer, right? Most of us will have 3, 4, up to 12 different careers over the course of our lifetime. Right? So the idea that you know everything you need to know by the time you finish a 4-year degree at 21 is kind of ridiculous, isn't it? Right? So we want to instill the idea that lifelong learning is important and that you may need at 30, you may need at 60 years old to come back to college for a quick burst of education. Maybe not a full degree, but maybe just 4 courses to get up to date on the latest software or the latest cutting edge development that's happened in your profession since you were in school. So we understand that what universities used to be is no longer the way of the future. And so my job is to be agile and is to design a future that we can't even see yet. I don't know how I do that, but I'm figuring it out. Next slide. So we do serve really from cradle to grave, and that's kind of an overstatement, but we do serve the traditional college student. So if you have a high school senior, a high school junior, and you want to send them off to a safe school, you want them to have that transformative experience in which they live in the dorm, in which they join the football team, they get married, they take classes, they become an adult. we definitely have that capacity at A&M Commerce, and we pride ourselves in the sense of community and the culture of care that we have in our residential experience for our students. And in my college, we are over the first year experience. At A&M Commerce, we call that TRAC, which stands for Transforming Relationships and Academic Connections. So students take a course with a professor that has competed for the chance to teach them. They are mentored by upperclassmen that have been through the freshman year and know how to survive it. So we give them insider tips, and they serve as a role model for how to behave on campus and not end up in the news in a bad way. Right? And so we do serve the traditional student, but interestingly enough, that 18-year-old full-time residential college student is only about 13% of the college population today. They're not the typical college student. In fact, the typical college student is a working professional, is someone who's going part-time. And so interestingly enough, Dr. Mark Rudin has spotted this, and he's charged me with serving that non-traditional population. So the next slide, we'll get into that a little bit. So, before that, we not only serve freshmen, we also serve kind of those short bursts of education. So we are creating certificate 4 courses in what we call the Jedi Certificate. I can't violate copyright. You're not going to, get a zoom zoom lightsaber. But hopefully you will get training in diversity, equity, inclusion, and justice. We are also creating a digital storytelling. So if you're interested in web development, audiovisual, podcasting, becoming a social media influencer, probably many of us in the room, that is not what we're interested in, but our children and our grandchildren may be interested in that. We're designing a certificate for that. And we're also very interested in making our campus much more disabled friendly. So we are creating a very large initiative to, as some campuses are military friendly, we're going to be a disability friendly campus for people with physical and cognitive and mental disabilities on our campus. Next slide. So, we do serve the non-traditional student because we know there are 4 million Texans that have some college but no completion. They started and they just didn't finish for one reason or another. And not all working professionals and adult learners are the same. Some adult learners are very much interested in the bucket list item. They started college, but something got in the way. Life, marriage, a job, anything. They just got distracted. It was too expensive for whatever reason. But after a number of years, they've decided, I want to go back and I want to finish this thing I started. I want to show my children and I want to show my grandchildren that you can go back and you can finish anything. So we have a number of grandparents and parents that are enrolled in college at the same time as their students. And they're doing it just because they want to. They want to show their kid. And then it becomes a competition. And many times the parent finishes before the kid, and I'm always cheering them on. I'm like, I know you can do it, yes, right? And that's one of our populations, is just the person that wants to come back to college to finish because they're a lifelong learner and they just want that certificate on their wall. But we have other people that are in a current position, but they know that their opportunity for advancement and promotion is blocked simply because they lack a credential. They can do the job, they've got the skills, but because they don't have that diploma on the wall, they're blocked from becoming a police sergeant. They're blocked from becoming the next level of supervisor in their organization. So we realize that a lot of people need to come in and upskill so that they can remain in their organization, but so that new pathways for advancement can occur. That's happening a lot in a lot of fields, like law enforcement, right? Police officers did not used to need a degree to become sheriff, to become a state police officer. They do now, however. And so a number of police officers that have 20 years of experience now need a degree, and we've met that need, and I'll describe that in a little bit. Finally, we have adult learners that are in a job, but they don't want to be in that job forever, right? They're either having a midlife crisis or they're having a realization that I'm no longer satisfied in this work. We have a number of people that have been on the front lines. They've been line workers, linemen that had climbed utility poles for 30 years, and they just don't want to do that back-breaking labor anymore. They want a job in which they are coordinating the logistics of distribution in their company, or they've been a rad tech forever and they just don't like the exposure and the risks of that. They would rather be an office manager. And so we have people that are pivoting careers, and they're also welcome in our program as well. So the bucket list, the upskill, and the reskill are really our niche populations that we work with. Next slide. So we do this in a number of ways. We have 2 traditional academic programs. One is the Bachelor of Applied Arts and Science, BASS. which I always called boss for some reason, nothing to do with goats, but for some reason that was just always stuck in my mind. So boss degree really is targeting that transfer from a community college. They have a technical degree, they have an associate's degree. We will accept all of those credits and more, and they can come in and finish very rapidly. We also have the BGS, the Bachelor of General Studies, and that's largely for that bucket list person, that person that has a number of degrees. Maybe they started and they had 15 different majors, and they could just never decide what they wanted to do because they love everything. But darn it, I want credit and I want a degree for everything that all those classes I took. We can piecemeal all of those together and make sure that they get a degree as well. So these 2 degrees are online or face-to-face, depending on how you feel comfortable learning. They are 16-week semesters. And they are very much traditionally offered. So if you are kind of an old school, you learn by a professor telling you, read this chapter, this is due by Friday, come along with the group and we will, on a linear way, get through this class together. This is the structure that would be best for you. It's that cohort, professor-led environment. So our BOS and our BGS are 2 options for adult learners. Next slide. We also have 4 more programs. These are what we call competency-based programs, which is abbreviated CBE. And I may just go back and forth between saying competency-based and CBE. But one is our Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice with an emphasis in law enforcement leadership. This was an area that we've decided to design a degree just for law enforcement. And it was designed by going to law enforcement. Sheriffs, state police, U.S. Marshals, they all consulted us and said, this is what we need, and we designed the courses by cops, for cops. And it's become an immensely popular program. We have started out with 7 students in 2018. We have over 250 now. Over 200 students have graduated. So these are law enforcement that now have exponential opportunities for advancement because we've designed a degree in which they can get through very quickly. We also have a BOS degree in organizational leadership. And this is a general leadership degree that lends the skills needed for any type of industry, whether you want to become a teacher, whether you want to start your own business, or whether you want to work for a nonprofit, or you want to become a community activist. We give you that broad scale training so that you can have the impact in the future career that you wish. Now these programs are slightly different because they're offered 100% online. So you never have to come to campus. You never have to show up at 8 in the morning. You work at the time that's best for you, whether that's 2 p.m. or 2 a.m., we accommodate that. These courses also are offered in 7-week terms, so it's a very short turnaround, and we offer them at 6 different times a year. So at a traditional university, you have 2 semesters a year. We have 6, right? And this is enabling people to graduate much more quickly because before you know it, you're in another class, you're in another term, you're making progress towards graduation. And these also, as I said before, are competency-based, which I'll describe in the next slide. Okay. We have 2 new programs that are right on the cusp. We're waiting for approval. I'm not supposed to share this with you, but because we're amongst friends, we have 2 new programs. We will be having a program in safety and health and another one in health services administration. So we're really trying to align with what the market needs are in our region, and we think there's a sizable need in these areas. These are also competency-based. Next slide. So what is the CBE thing, and why have I never heard of it? I had never heard of it, and I had been at the university for 17 years before this was assigned to me. So this is like our best kept secret. Our organizational leadership program launched in 2014. It is now the 3rd largest major at our university, but you probably never heard of it, which is so strange to me, right? So these are courses, they're offered $750. That is the tuition for a 7-week term. It's not $3,000, it's not $7,000, it's $750. Right?
How many hours?
How many hours? We register you for 2 classes. Okay, you could register for 16. It would still be $750. Okay? No extra fees, no textbooks. Everything is structured into the courses themselves. Now we will register a student for 2 classes for this 7-week term, and that way they qualify for financial aid if they need it. Interestingly enough, our price point is so affordable, only 37% of our students need financial aid. Most pay out of pocket, or most have an employer that is paying their bill. So 7 weeks in, we register you for 2 courses, right? And these courses are very flexible, and I'll describe that in a little bit. It's important to know that we will accept transfer credits. So if you have community college credits, if you started college in marching band or snake handling or unicorn candy making, we will accept all of those credits. We're never one of those programs that's like, you had math, but you didn't take it from me. I'm not taking that math class. We'll take it. We will take welding, HVAC, technical training. We will accept military credits. We are converting law enforcement basic police officer certification into college credit, right? Because what is the point of telling a police officer that's been out on the streets for 20 years, you can start by taking Introduction to Policing, right? Like he could write the textbook, right? So I said that's nonsense. Right? We're gonna remove that barrier, we're gonna unlearn everything, and we're gonna give him credit for what he already knows. And that's the basis of what we do. Okay. Students are eligible for financial aid, and again, TCOL, that police certification. Also, CHOSO, I'm not sure if any of you have heard of that. That's a Certified Safety and Health Official. That's an OSHA certification. We are converting that into college credit as well, so that people get a little head start. Next slide. So how does it work? Like, this sounds too good to be true. Like $750, are you yanking my leg, right? So students enroll in 2 courses, and the courses are structured so that it is, number one, flexible, right? There are no due dates. There are no deadlines. You have 7 weeks to complete the class. It may take you 48 hours. It may take you 48 days. It may take you every single hour of that 7-week term to finish, but it's up to you. It's very much self-paced. So if you have a background in this course, Introduction to Policing, and you're like, I know this inside and out, you go in and you take a pre-test, and if that pre-test scores very well, say you get 100% on it, you don't have to go into any of the modules and prove that you know each of the materials, because you just did that. You just showed mastery. Chances are you're not going to score well in everything, and a professor is going to contact you and say, okay, check, 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 you've done that really well. Modules 2 and 3, you seem to be challenged with. Let's go through those together. Or you look at module 2 and then let me know if you have any questions. When you think you're ready, try the test again, right? They test it again. Maybe they don't do so well on one of the modules. They go back and they work on that. You only have to do the parts of the course that you are not competent in, that you can't show mastery in, right? Every course has an applied culminating project. So for instance, I'm talking a lot about our law enforcement project, but the communication class, the law enforcement students, they have to have a press release. They have to record themselves on video as if they are on the 5 o'clock news, giving a briefing about some calamity that happened on campus or calamity that happened in the town. That's something that they're going to do on the job later on. So we want them to demonstrate their communication skills. And so they have to show mastery in that as well. And all along, they are getting personalized feedback from the instructor. They're working at their own pace, right? But the instructor is saying, you're doing really well here, let's work on this together. Here's a YouTube video, how can I help you get through? They also have an advisor, and our advisor is incredible. I think she has ESP, because sometimes she just checks in and is like, are you doing okay? I haven't heard from you in a while. My cat died. Oh, how did you know? I'm your advisor. Just know these things. So we're really providing holistic support for the students. The instructor is there caring about them academically, but the advisor is really making sure that everything's working. Do you have the technology you need? Are your finances in order? Was there a flood at your house, right? Can we somehow, help connect you with campus resources so that you get counseling or the financial needs that you have? Here's the best part about our program. Okay. So students have 7 weeks to complete 2 courses. If they complete both of those courses before the 7-week term is up, they can accelerate and take a 3rd class. No additional fees. They paid $750, that's all they owe us. So they're basically getting a 3rd class for free. If they finish that 3rd class, they can take a 4th class. They can take a 5th class. They can take a 6th class, depending on how much initiative and motivation they have. The record is that a student completed 10 college courses in one 7-week session. Okay. Now, that is not the norm, right? It's not that the courses are that easy that you're just like, I just whipped it out. This is so easy, right? But we have had law enforcement. We have had students, firefighters, that have these strange shifts where they work 48 hours and then they're off for 48 hours. Gosh darn it, in that 48 hours that they're off, they can finish a class if they work night and day on it, right? And it depends on your background. So we had a statistician from the Army enroll in a statistics class. He was able to finish it in the weekend. Not a big surprise, because that's what he does for a living. I would be surprised if it took him longer than that, right? But he also was in an art history class, which he knew nothing about. And it's not a surprise, he took all 7 weeks to finish that class. So students, if they're motivated and they want to get done as quickly as possible to move on to the next class, they can. Many times students could finish earlier, but they don't want to. They're so engaged with the course materials, they go back through a module just for the sake of it because they like to learn and they like this interaction they're having with the professor. So you can accelerate, but you can also decelerate, but that's the feature of our programs. Next slide. So our criminal justice program, the tuition is $750, but because of House Bill 2347, active law enforcement officers that are enrolled and taking criminal justice courses are entitled to a tuition reduction. So if you know of any police officers that want their college degree, they can enroll in our program and the tuition is only $450 per term. $450 per term. This also applies to firefighters, but I understand cops and firefighters have friendly competition between one another, so I shouldn't utter those two occupations in the same sentence, so my apologies if I offended anybody. So that's just good to know. And then the next slide is, and I want to speak to any employers here, or any of you that have employees that have employment tuition reimbursement programs. Generally $2,000 is the amount of the stipend that's available for employees. And because of the affordability of our program, if you're in the organizational leadership program, that covers 3 full terms. That's a half a year of college tuition that is covered by your tuition reimbursement. In a traditional semester, that would cover a class and a half. Right? Instead, this is covering half a year of tuition. For law enforcement, because they're reduced tuition, if you're allotted $2,000 by your employee, that will cover what, 4 full terms, more than half a year of your tuition to graduate. Next slide. So this is an overall infographic, and you could not possibly see all of the information we've crammed on here, but some of the essential statistics that I think are really important for you to know is that the average age in our academic programs is 38. It's not the 18-year-old, but it's the 38-year-old who is working a full-time job, who is taking their courses at night during the weekends, and they're finishing. And interestingly enough, 43% of our graduates report an income increase or a promotion within 1 year after graduation. Right? So because we're tied to industry and we're not giving you a degree in unicorn chocolate making, I think that's what I said it was, there are no jobs in that, right? But there are jobs in law enforcement. There are jobs in middle management. There are jobs in health services administration. And so our students are seeing the successes of that. Also, we know that students in our competency-based programs, they're finishing a year and a half earlier than a traditional student. They're also finishing college at half the price of a traditional college student. So that is one of the things that we're very proud of, and what Dr. Rudin wanted me to come and talk to you about was that the College of Innovation and Design is really doing things differently. So if you yourself are somebody who started college and you didn't finish, but by golly, I want that degree. You know, I wonder what's the fastest way for me to get through, because I have courses in culinary and unicorn chocolate making and math. Who's going to take all that? We're going to take all that. And we're going to make it coherent so that you're ready to go out in the job market and get a job in the degree that you want. So if you are an employer and you're interested in your employees getting a degree because you know that people that are educated are better decision makers, they work better on teams, they can write and speak more effectively, then we would be more than happy to talk to you about cohort programs in which your employees could all enroll together. The University Police Force of Prairie View A&M is sending all of their university police officers to our program. Not Prairie View, they're sending them to us. Which we're thrilled about. And they really like that idea of all the law enforcement officers taking classes together. Not so that they can cheat, but so that they can hold each other accountable, right? So it's like, come on, Fred, right? Like, I'm done with the pretest, where are you? Like, hurry up, right? That healthy competition is going to get them all through the program together. What's the next slide? The next slide is that I thank you for your time. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. Please feel free to reach out to me. I have flyers about our criminal justice program and our organizational leadership program. I also have a lot of bling. So I have pens that light up. I have blue blocking sunglasses, and I have hand sanitizer. So please, you're welcome to anything that I have, and I'm happy to answer any questions. Yeah.
So just how long, or what's the time period that credits can transfer?
There is no time limit.
So if you went to school in the early 80s?
Yes. When your grandmother is inquiring about the program, yeah, we can accept We can accept credits from the 1950s, yes. Yes, we will take all of
Is
that.
there a grade limit on those that you would accept?
We will accept those that make you eligible to take more classes, yes.
From other states.
So that was my 3-minute speech today.
Yes, from other states, yes.
Are there any more questions for, they call you Dr. V? VR. Any other questions for the docs? Well, I want to present you with a people of action, because anybody that comes to speak to us is definitely a person of action. So, here, it's really bigger than it looks. Make you say cheese. Oh, wait, I had my cough drop in my mouth.
She's never taken a picture, ever?
She's never.
1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you for coming, and tell Dr. Rudin that we missed him. Not being here.
They were great pictures, except for.
Don't forget, we have lots of volunteer hours with the CPC, we have volunteer hours with the human trafficking, we have volunteer hours with us checking this room out and painting and buying paint. You guys write your volunteer hours down, it's real important, and turn them in. And if there's no other major announcements, oh, good. Good, I found your check.
My company's paid a lot of money to have it.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, I was drooling in there, I was right broke. If there is, let's see, here we go. Thank you very much.
Thank you all again so much.
Katie, tonight, CPC follow-up. Next Tuesday, as Teresa and Katie said, human trafficking right here at 5:30. Tuesday, 10:30 in the boardroom, and then other than that, Dwayne?
If you are a history buff.
Oh, yeah.
And like history, be sure to be here next week. We're going to see some very interesting articles.
From Dr. Bobby Sparks, ancient artifacts from the Holy Land at that. Last week for September, setup crew and cleanup crew, don't forget to bust your own tables. That is, and then next month, let's get ready. Colleen Smith is the leader. And Colleen, you better start recruiting people, because you right now only have that come steady Katie, Liz, and Katie.
That's all I need. That's all I
There
need.
you go.
Yeah.
It's great to be a Rotarian. It's great to be a Rotarian. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you.
Don says sure.